I suspect foul play. I've eliminated nobody as a suspect. Oh god, I'm recording.
What is this? CSI KFC?
Hey, what's up everybody? Shane Hansen back at it again. It's been over 2 years since I posted my first video, which I've since deleted because it wasn't very good. But anyways, I'm back at it now, and I've been thinking about restarting this channel for a long time, but I just never had, I guess, had the drive to do it. But now, here we are, and let's do this. So over the weekend, I saw Knives Out with a few buddies of mine. It's been a movie that's been on my radar for a long time, since like July, and it was pretty good. I have some, I guess, nitpicks with the movie. It's very specific just to me personally, but I'll get into that later. But first, I want to talk about what I liked, and there's a lot. First thing that comes to mind is the cast. This cast is just amazing. I mean, phenomenal. Everybody does great, which is no surprise. It's people like Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, big names, and people that really stood out to me were Ana de Armas. She's kind of a newer actress. I've only seen her in a couple other things, but she really stood out here. She just had a great emotional range, and she's kind of the central character of the movie, and she really carried it nicely. But the big standout, and probably my favorite part of this movie, is Daniel Craig as how do you pronounce his character's name? Benyon Blanc, I think. Probably butchering that, but anyways, yeah, he was just, oh my god, he was amazing. Really, I mean, what a performance, what a character. Everything about him was just great. The writing, he's, when I was going to this movie, I mean, I had seen some of the trailers, but I didn't pay particularly close attention to it. But I get to the movie theater and I'm expecting him to be, I mean, when you think Daniel Craig and detective, what comes to mind? Right? So, I'm thinking it's going to be kind of a 007 type thing, but then no, he's like this very eccentric, lover of words, as Ryan Johnson describes him, and I like that kind of description. And he's got like this old-timey Kentucky accent, and I was not expecting it at all. I mean, I looked at my buddies and I was like, what? Yeah, totally took me by surprise, but I absolutely loved it. I'm sure he'll get some Oscar buzz. Don't know if he'll win, because they got Joaquin in the way, but that's a whole other story. But, a lot of actors, in this movie, they really diverged from their typical, typecast, which would be, like Chris Evans is a great example. He's been typed as like the Captain America, Goody Two Shoes type of guy for a long time. He did Gifted, which was movie came out in 2017, really good film. But he's like the one guy who's really level-headed. And this movie is a complete departure from that. But it was a nice welcome departure. He was very. I think they described him in the movie as like the black sheep of the family, and you absolutely feel that way.
Up your ass.
Oh, very nice.
Matter of fact, eat shit. How's that? Eat shit, eat shit, eat shit.
Smug smile.
Definitely eat shit.
Yeah. Anyway, really funny nonetheless, but because he does have a great range as an actor, and so that was cool to see. I mean, the creativity of the movie as a whole is just really excellent. Ryan Johnson is kind of an infamous name in the film industry nowadays, at least people that I know, because he wrote and directed The Last Jedi, which I personally really enjoyed, but it seems like everybody else on the planet kind of hated it, but whatever, what are you going to do? But I mean, this movie is really well done, and normally with a guy like him, his movies are really well acted, and shot really creatively, and this is no exception. And I think he writes really good dialogue too, and there are some very memorable lines in this movie, that is for sure. So overall, great job by him and the creative team as a whole. I mean, this is interesting. I read that this movie had only 6 weeks to shoot, which is crazy for a feature-length movie this big. I mean, that just means that the creative team really went full on to make it happen, and you can tell, there's a lot of care that went into this movie, and overall, it just has it has a very unique and kind of like a cool just style and vibe to it. It's like just based off the trailers, I was expecting it to be kind of, like a classic whodunit mystery, and it kind of is in a way. It's, set in this very, mid-19th century mansion in northeastern United States. Yet it's set in 2019, and the characters all have cell phones and, modern cars and this and that, and it was interesting. It's, kind of a fresh take on the murder mystery whodunit genre. And that's where I start having slight issues with the movie. Okay, mild spoilers for right here. I don't know how else to address it, but if you want to go in totally fresh, just skip to this time in the video, and I'll see you there in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I was expecting this to be like like I said, a whodunit murder mystery type of thing, because that's kind of how it was set up. Like the grandfather, played by Christopher Plummer, he's killed, and then it's like an investigation of who did it. You know what I mean? And Rian Johnson is very famous for subverting expectations, and once again, this was no exception. And the thing about this movie is that it was, it's like you see Plummer's character, Harlan, I think was his name? Yeah, Harlan Thrombey. You see him slit his own throat and take his own life like 30 minutes into the movie. And because one character witnesses it, unfortunately. And this whole, the whole middle hour of the movie is essentially her trying to cover up her tracks, thinking that the detectives are gonna falsely accuse her of murder, even though she didn't do anything, since she was there at the scene when it happened. And so it then doesn't feel as much like a mystery and more like a story about her trying to cover up her innocence, which is fine. It's just not what I was expecting. It's not so much a mystery in that sense. But then, it is revealed later on. There's a certain plot point that happens. You'll know what I mean if you see it, but where you think, okay, well, now there is an actual mystery to be had here, and then it kind of becomes an investigation of that. But it's not the murder of the grandfather himself. It's something kind of different, because they all kind of feel like something is off with just things that have been happening. And so that's what ends up happening. It's hard to explain. You just have to see it. Which I assume if you stayed for this part of the video, you have seen the movie. But in the end, aside from just those small little nitpicks with the story and stuff, it was a good time. I enjoyed myself, and my 3 buddies, they really liked it as well. And it's just like I said, it's kind of a refreshing take on this genre, and I've heard pretty much good things about it, and you should all definitely go see it. I know a lot of people who are saying that they are boycotting Rian Johnson movies. Don't do that. Okay, if he ruined Star Wars or whatever for you, first of all, grow up. Second of all, that's one bad movie. Okay, he's a great director, great writer, and I will give Knives Out an A-. It is, in my opinion, one of the best movies of the year so far. Not that that's saying a whole lot, because 2019 hasn't exactly been the best year for movies, but yeah. Anyways, thank you everybody so much for watching. Stay tuned. I will be posting more stuff this time around. The end of the year, end of the decade actually is coming up. So I was planning on doing like a top 10 movies of the 2010 decade or something like that. Maybe top 10 comic book movies of all time. If you want me to rank all the Star Wars movies, I'm a big fan of doing that too. Or, you know, whatever it is that you might want to see. Just leave a comment, whatever you think. Let me know. And if you like this and you would like to see more, just make sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye now.
You gotta do this more often.